Hey guys, welcome to the Rat Grind channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is Friday and I'm so excited to get back into doing a video. It's a little bit over midnight. It's actually Saturday already. But I had to take care of some stuff. So I wasn't able to do a video sooner. But welcome, to episode 35. Today I want to give you guys some crypto updates, and I also want to start giving you guys some what I call rat grind personal development, because I think that a lot of us that get into any opportunity, any business, we're always looking at it from a money-making standpoint, getting rich, not having to work anymore. But I think for us to be able to succeed in anything that we pursue, personal development, working on ourselves, I'm a strong believer in the more you earn, the more you learn, the more you earn. So I want to be able to give you guys pieces of nuggets, throughout the videos, so that you can be able to apply them to your day-to-day lives and approach any opportunity, whether it may be crypto, dropship, stock trading and all that stuff. I want to be able to give you guys the right mindset to be able to survive anything, because we all know stuff happens. SHIT happens. So I want to make sure that you guys are all prepared for that. So let's get right on it. So just a couple reminders, guys. So if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell. It helps me out because you are informed every time I have a new video released. And the other thing is, please smash the likes. Show me your support. Let me know how I'm doing with the feedback and comment, so that I can be able to keep improving this channel and work on it to your specifications, so that I can provide you the best value that I can deliver. All right, so let's get started, guys. The first thing that I want to be able to share with you guys is Rat Grind Daily. So today I took a bear swing position on an oil and gas ETF, right? I'll show you guys in a little bit what position I took. So I'm swing trading it over the weekend. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm going to let you guys know why I did that. Again, it may or may not work, but I want to be able to show you guys my mindset and what I was thinking in being able to enter that particular trade and swing trade, right? And another news, but before I say that, please don't copy my trades. Like I always say, this ain't financial advice. Don't trade because of my own opinion. Please do your own research. This is not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. So I just want to give you guys that disclaimer, right? So the crypto markets dropped back down to the red zones today, which I'm going to be showing you guys, and I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of news, so that you guys can be able to understand potentially what is going on in the market and why we are where we are experiencing some of these dips, and some of where we're gonna potentially experience some opportunities coming in the very, very near future. All right, so also I want to give you guys some news. This was shared to me by one of my coworkers today. He read an article on, I believe it's on Bloomberg, where basically the premise of the article is small-time bankers make millions peddling mortgages to poor people. I know in the last couple of videos we were talking about the new law that was being passed to basically reverse some of the Dodd-Frank protection that was put in place. But this article is very interesting because it does show us that even with the Dodd-Frank, we already have a lot of loopholes that companies are finding to be able to continue to make money. And imagine what more it would be without those accountabilities in place for them to be able to make the right decisions based on moral and based on our interest, right? Because they're using our money. So I also want to share with you guys the idea. This is the personal development part that I want to have a discussion with you just a little bit before we dive into all the market and all the updates and all that stuff. So that the idea is why finding your passion is misleading, in my opinion, to take, because it's misleading us to take the easy road, quit when the going gets tough, and never really achieve the success that we want in life. All right, so that's what we're going to be discussing. So for some practical coin news, so proof of work coins currently are on high alert because there's been a couple of 51% attacks that have been happening. I'm going to give you guys an update on some of those. And there was a news that I read that sort of summarizes all of it, so that you guys are aware that if your coin is a proof of work, this could potentially happen. This is the drawback, because of course it's not yet 100% secure. A currency like Bitcoin, which has a huge network, you are well off. You are better off, I mean. But with some of the newer blockchains that don't have enough miners out there with enough money, you could still be able to be put in a position where somebody who has substantial amounts of it, like I'm talking about, like hundreds of millions of dollars, or depending on the size of the network, could potentially affect you, right? So I also was reading an article that currently one Satoshi in Venezuela is now equivalent to 5 Venezuelan bolivars. So one Satoshi is the smallest denomination of Bitcoin. So it's basically 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. All right. So there's also an article that BTC in the future is going to be a good store of value, and it could be worth $40,000, right? And small banks are making money with Bitcoin. I want to share that with you guys as well. All right, so let's get right into some of the personal development that I want to be able to share with you guys. So, like I keep telling you guys, finding your passion is quite misleading, right? Why? We hear it all the time. We always hear it that if you find something that you love to do, it's not going to be work anymore, right? So what that programs us, I see this in my son. He's growing, he's about to be a teenager very, very soon, and I can see this. Teachers tell people, colleagues tell us, we read it in the news, we read it everywhere, that find your passion and you're going to be set for life, right? So, but I think that's very misleading. If you had a chance to read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, right? He talks about this idea of success coming from mastery, right? For you to be able to master something, you need to put in 10,000 hours to doing something so you can acquire the necessary expertise to be able to do that for a long period of time and actually get success from it. So success comes from purpose and mastery, right? The idea of finding your passion, when I checked out, you can check it out, go to ngram.google.com. It didn't really come out until the 1980s, 1985, when it shot up, right? The graph shows like a steady flow, like, minimal, maybe a couple here and there that mentioned them in the books, but not in the same context that it's being used today. But in 1985, for some reason, it just starts shooting up, where maybe the times really dictated for that idea to come out. I don't know, but it shot up in 1985. And, Steve Jobs was later in his life was a big proponent for finding your passion, because it seemed like he found his passion and he became successful, right? That's what we all are being sort of led to believe, right? He had a talk in Stanford where he talked about this idea of finding your passion, right? He was talking to soon-to-be graduates or graduating class on a commencement speech, and that's what the message that he was trying to deliver for them. But the sad truth is, what we're looking for today is the silver bullet. Just to give you a background, last year I was attending a marketing conference in Boston, and I was fortunate enough to be able to hear from a speaker named Ed Catmull. So he is one of the co-founders of Pixar. So he was doing business. He was a co-founder with Steve Jobs, and he saw him. This was the time when he had been fired from Apple, right? So you build a company. You launch a successful marketing campaign, everything drops, and then you get kicked out of your own company. That's sad. So he went ahead and acquired, went ahead and started Next, a computer company, and he also went ahead and worked with Ed Catmull on Pixar. And we all know Pixar developing some of the best movies, Monster Inc. What is that? Up? Like, I love that movie. That movie made me cry. The lessons of that movie is just amazing, right? So they were able to collaborate on that creatively, right? So what he said was, a lot of people, when Steve Jobs passed away, sort of had this. Of course, when somebody passes away, you talk about the accomplishments that they've had in life. How he was really good at marketing, really good at communicating his message, really good with people, and had real passion. So, that was what we all come to agree on and come to love, right? We also saw those Steve Jobs movies that one was Ashton Kutcher and one was what was his name? Man, was it Christian Bale? No, not Christian Bale. I forgot the other actor, but there was another Steve Jobs movie that came out that was very fascinating. Oh, Michael Fassbender. It was Michael Fassbender. So what Ed Catmull said in the speech was, Steve Jobs in college, he basically dropped out of all his classes and was only taking calligraphy classes, right? Because his whole goal was, his passion at the time was Zen, like Eastern philosophy and stuff like that. He was basically jumping from class to class and just bumming out. He was sleeping in the campus and eating at the a Hare Krishna temple, right, for free food, and that's what he was doing. And calligraphy was sort of his thing, right? So if he really pursued his passion, he would not be the Steve Jobs innovator, world changer, marketing expert, communication genius that we all know today. He would be known as the Zen master, if that, right? So if he truly believed in following your own passion to be successful, then he wouldn't be the Steve Jobs that we know today. So I just wanted to share that with you, not to diminish anything that Steve Jobs does. This is Steve Jobs has done. Steve Jobs is one of my, I come from marketing. So when he did the first Apple marketing, when he launched the first Apple product, that was amazing to me, right? And then when he came up with the Think Different campaign, when he was talking about the rebels, the outsiders, the outliers, how they had they had the opportunity to change the world, because he said that the people that think they can change the world are the ones that can do that. That was very powerful. So from a marketing standpoint, I mean, like, I love that guy. And from a business standpoint, I love him. But I'm just giving you guys context that computers and business and marketing wasn't his first passion. So he found that purpose, because when he was working with Steve Wozniak, he found that, you know what? This is what's going to change the world. This will allow me to serve my purpose, because he knew what he wanted to do. He was ultra competitive and he wanted to prove people that he could make it, that he could be successful, because he comes from a decent, not so low, not so high background. But one thing that you may have not known, because I've read a lot about Steve Jobs because I'm fascinated by his story. His school, if you don't know this, his school was one of the few schools in all of America that actually had a computer in it. So he would sneak out at night and he would break into the school. And this is just a story. Of course, I mean, I don't have his, it didn't come directly from him, but this is one of the stories, and you can figure it out. You can Google it, research it on your own. But he would break into the school and learn how to program. So he had some advantages in place. Not necessarily like it was handed to him, but he saw an opportunity. That was one of his best characteristics, was he was able to see opportunity and be able to seize that opportunity. And I think that's what we need to be able to do. So just finding your passion is not enough, right? So example, in the crypto space, I see it all the time. When I log into my Facebook, for example, because I'm part of a lot of different groups, right? Blockchain investment groups, cryptocurrency groups. I'm on Telegram, Discord, and all this stuff. And all I hear a lot is like, "Oh, I have $1,000. Where should I put my money?" I get it that a lot of people are trying to get advice. I appreciate that, and they're also looking for YouTubers like myself or other people that want to tell them, okay, this is what you need to invest in, right? This is what you need to buy with your with your hard-earned money. I get that because that's easy, right? But the problem is because you don't really have the purpose. You don't have enough personal development in you. You're not studying, right? You're not honing your skills. You're not putting that 10,000 hours in place. When FUD comes, you are not strong enough to resist. The last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, cryptocurrencies has taken a major hit, right? And I've lost a lot of my portfolio. People are saying he should have sold when it was high, all this stuff. I get it. I should have, right? But I believe in the coins that I've invested in long term. So I'm not so affected by the FUD. But of course, I can only make that stand. I can make that decision because I've invested time, money on myself, my mind, my heart, my life, experiences, as well as studying the opportunities that I do, not just in cryptocurrencies, but any business. I've had my fair share of failures in life, which I'm going to share with you guys a lot of it on this channel when I have a chance to do so. But, when discomfort and hardship happens, we bounce out. We don't bounce back, but we bounce out. That's one of the saddest things that we do in life, right? So my challenge to you guys is to invest in yourself, your mind, your personal growth. So look for my book review that I did last summer, right? I did about almost 60 books. I read one a day, like literally one a day, to prove to my son that I could read a personal development book every single day, because he was reading like Harry Potter and all this stuff. And I wanted to prove to him, like, Noah, you cannot tell me that you cannot read a book every single day, because I will. And I read one book a day. And I studied it, and I podcasted about it. I reviewed them and I put them online. Go through it. You may not have time to review a full book. I get it, guys. But there's a lot of resources out there for you to be able to learn. Watch a video on YouTube. Watch a TED Talk, right? Work on yourself. Work on your mind. Find the purpose and find your why. I'm doing this because my why is my family, right? That's my number one why, is I want to be able to provide for my kids and my wife and my entire family and give them the life that they so deserve. And that's what I feel that they deserve, right? The second thing, even more important, don't tell my wife that I said this, but one of the most important things in my life is to be able to leave a legacy. Not just my family. I love my family to death, Don't get me wrong. They're like my number one priority in life. But from a selfish perspective, I want to leave a legacy of positivity in this world. I want to be able to leave it. I know it's idealistic, but I want to be able to leave it better than I had entered it, right? And how can I do that? I believe that, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had to go through a lot of different things to get to where I am at. I'm not happy where I'm at, so I'm continually pushing myself to be better at this, right? So I want to be able to make sure that I want to be able to touch people's lives. That's why I started this channel. First, there's a lot of ideas that I want to be able to put together, that I want to be able to share with you guys. But I felt that I needed a starting point. So I'm reviewing cryptocurrencies. I'm giving you guys this. But at the end of the day, the Rack Grind channel is all about me showing you guys opportunities, that it's not about time. It's not about money. It's about you finding your purpose, finding a passion, and actually putting in the time and work to work on your mind, work on your hands, and work on your heart to achieve the destiny that you deserve, right? Break down the barriers, right? Break down the barriers that stop you from achieving what you want. I invite you to apply this today. no one should be able to bring you down. Not family, not enemies, not friends, and especially not your own limiting belief. All right, guys. Well, that's all the personal development that I wanted to be able to share with you guys. I hope that you are able to find some useful nuggets in that. That I'm giving that to you from my heart and from my experience. This is not something that you know I'm just like babbling about. This is really something that I truly believe in, that I apply in my day-to-day life, and I'm trying to teach my kids and everyone around me, my team members that I manage, and my team. Like I told you guys, I'm a head of marketing for a fashion brand. A lot of my guys, a lot of my team members, girls, women and men, are experts at what they do. But sometimes, we need to be able to continue working on ourselves and working on our craft to be able to make the most out of our journey out of the rat race. All right, so let's jump back into the updates. I'll talk to you guys first about my natural gas position. All right, so let's get going there. So as you can see behind me, I'm looking at this is the Thinkorswim platform that I have, and I invested in this ETF called DRIP. This is a this is an inverse ETF. This is a bull ETF. As you can see, it bounced off the 20-day exponential moving average, and it's going up. It stopped today. It pulled back just a little bit, and it was green on the aftermarket. So I'm gonna swing trade this. My goal is for it to hit about 890, 880, and if it goes down to about $6.50, $6, or actually even just $7, right? I haven't put my stop losses in, but I can set that up as my stop loss. So if it opens on $7, I'm gonna get out of the position. But if it the margin that I can get here is quite a lot, and as you can see, it's trajecting up, right? So that's why I invested in this particular ETF. So I'm going to give you guys an update on this next week, but let me just show you the news that I read today that made me get into this position. So the Russian oil boss warns Donald Trump that Iran move, pulling out the Iran deal may result in unpredictable crude prices, because of course they are in the Middle East, right? So there's a lot of things that could happen when they pull out of that deal. So we'll see what happens, guys. I read all this on this is on Forbes, and potentially that it could turn bad, and when it does, then my bear ETF would turn good, because that's an inverse ETF that's betting for it to go on a bearish sentiment overall for the oil prices, right? So that's why I got into that trade. All right, so that's pretty much it for that particular thing. Let's go back and discuss cryptocurrencies now. So as you can see, the market is again red. BTC lost 1.48% and Ethereum lost 2.32%, and a lot of the different coins are all down, although most of them are single digits. No, I didn't see any major coins that were really double digits. But still, we're still in that consolidation phase, and it's pretty bearish right now, right? Let's go into the crypto coin market cap. So the market cap today is $331 billion, right? And the 24-hour volume is $14 billion. As you can see, like I told you guys, majority of the coins are in the red at 1%, 2%, 3%, single digit downfall. But what the interesting part the interesting thing here is, like I told you guys, for Bitcoin, we need to be able to get above the 7,800, 7,900, or even 7,800 for us to be able to be in a safe zone. Ethereum, we need to stay above the 600 line, 650 if possible, so that we can get back into a bullish sentiment. We'll look at the charts in a little bit, but I just wanted to be able to show you guys what's happening in the crypto market. Ethereum Classic, if you're holding on this, there's some news that I want to be able to share with you guys that it might be a problem moving forward with all this 51% attacks and stuff like that. So just looking at the coins, 0RX pulled back 9%. That's to be expected, because it pumped really high, so it pulled back about 50% from what it gained there. And but overall, pretty much a lot of the different coins are in the red. So let's look at the Bitcoin chart. So as you can see, when I drew this, let me turn off the excuse me. Let's put the log here. All right, so let me just zoom out here. So as you can see, I drew this ascending line here, a trend line, right? And I drew that out for you guys, I believe, I don't know, 2-3 videos ago. And that's the line that we bounced in. Sorry guys, let me just get a drink of water here real quick. All right, so as you can see, we bounced on that line and we're sort of consolidating above that. On the 4-hour chart, it's already broken above the 15-day exponential moving average, but it got rejected, right? So it might, you know, it might pull down even more. Let's look at the 1-day chart, guys. So the 1-day chart currently, it's a spinning top. Yeah, it's a spinning top. What that means is it is in the green on the 1-day chart, but as you can see, it's hitting major resistance right here. The wicks keep getting pulled back. The bulls and the bears are currently fighting. We need this green candle to hit above the 15-day exponential moving average above here and then bounce back down so that we can be able to get some confirmation of a more bullish sentiment. We need to be able to break this because right now it's forming lower highs and lower lows. So, you know, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. So that's a very, very bearish sentiment in the market, and we need to be able to break up and get back into this range. And if it does, like I told you guys, we need to get back into this 8,000 level, you know, 7,900, 7,800 preferably, because of course this line is going to go down and it's going to meet it right around 7,800, 7,900. So that's what we want to be able to see. So let's look at the Ethereum chart, guys. So for here, as you can see, it also is bouncing on that long-term line that I draw out, right? So it's currently still within this support level, this zone right here. It hasn't broken down to the 500 range, but if it does, that can happen this weekend, or it's a long weekend, Memorial Weekend. So if there's not a lot of traders in the market that come in, then potentially this could break down to lower levels, guys. So that's something that we don't want to happen, but it can happen. So we have to watch out on this. This weekend, I'm gonna try to give you guys as videos sometime late in the evening. I have some guests coming in tomorrow, and I'm working on the course. I'm working on some other stuff, you know, that I want to be able to put together. I'm working on some other videos that are more general, that is not crypto updates, that are not just, you know, day to day. I want to be able to give you guys some long tail strategic videos and also some introduction videos, because I get a lot of questions on introductions, because I think that's what this space needs. It needs more education. I know we look at the charts, we look at this, we look at that, and then there's a group of people, YouTubers out there that talk about basic stuff. So we need to be able to have a combination of both. And the other thing that I wanna do in this channel is, of course, introduce personal development, because I think if we introduce personal development to us, you know, traders, investors, hodlers, and all of us in the crypto space, not just learning about blockchain, because we have to understand, guys, we have to understand, for the blockchain cryptocurrencies to change the world, we need massive adoption, you know, like the internet. When I remember one of the, you know, I would make a website and no one would really visit it, right? Traffic to a website wasn't really the goal. It was just like, oh, let me make a website. You know, I had animated GIFs and programming some Flash and stuff like that. And that was all good and that was all cool. But later on, when you realize the practicality of it, a lot of people need to use this, right? So a lot of the blockchain projects right now, it's all about technicalities. It's all about the next blockchain, you know, solving the next scaling solution, solving more security, making the consensus more a cyclic, because we need to get to a cyclic Byzantine fault tolerance. So it's like it becomes completely and truly trustless. We're not there yet. There's some coins that are like their Hashgraph, for example. It's a new blockchain that came out that it uses Ghost protocol. Gossip protocol. And they say that the consensus is instantaneous, right? Read up a little bit more on that. I'm going to try to make a video just for each of these consensus, but that's what we're discussing in the market. But a lot of the people that come into this space, they say like, you know what, I'm not even going to touch it. You guys are talking alien. And that's what I felt when I got into this space. There was like super basic stuff, and then there's like talking about technical analysis and talking about all this stuff. We need something in between, right? But we need to be able to bring the personal development, because if we have personal development, then we can sustain all the dips, all the crashes, because we can put in place a more solid and centralized approach, right? We need to be centered in the way we trade, so we're not susceptible to mood swings. We're not susceptible to FUD, or we're not susceptible to FOMOing, because we have a more sound base. Our foundation is better in our lives and in ourselves. So the decisions that we make, we tend to trust them because we have a process. We trust in the process of doing something. We break it down into little step-by-step details, so that when we apply these criterias, these formulas, then whatever happens in the market, it doesn't really matter for us, because we made the right decision to get into an opportunity for a very specific reason, for a scientific reason, because we believe in that opportunity and we've done our homework properly, right? So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to share more of that with you guys, all right? So let's get into some news, guys. Oh, sorry, my internet's acting a little bit crazy. So Ethereum Classic, right? 51% attack would cost just $55 million and could result in $1 billion profit. This came out today. William Suberg from Cointelegraph. So what he's saying, that if people bought $55 million worth of Ethereum Classic right now, they could perform, and they had they put the mining power in place. With that investment, they could do a 51% attack. See, this is one of the things that is important to understand. When it's a proof of work, it's susceptible to these 51% attacks. From a Bitcoin perspective, that's highly unlikely that it can happen, because Bitcoin is so expensive. But a lot of these smaller cryptocurrencies, that pretty much a lot of them forked from either Ethereum or Bitcoin, and they use that same security model, but Bitcoin has a large amount of distribution. So a 51% attack is more unlikely for Bitcoin, but it's highly likely for a lot of the smaller cryptocurrencies, right? That's why they, like Neo, they do delegated proof of stake, and there's, Ethereum itself is trying to move into proof of stake model, right? So instead of a proof of work consensus model, so eventually that's what's gonna need to be improved, so that we can be able to avoid this type of stuff, so if you're an Ethereum Classic holder, which I'm not personally, I do trade Ethereum Classic because I've gotten some good swings from Ethereum Classic, but I'm not long-term invested in it. So just to give you guys just to advise you guys that I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to create FUD and stuff like that. But I just wanted to share that with you. If you are holding Ethereum Classic, just be aware. Just be mentally prepared if this happens, for you to be able to secure your coins and get out before it happens. Or if it's happening, you know what you need to be able to do. Because what 51% attacks does is basically they will do, because majority wins, right? It's not even 51%, it's 50 plus 1, right? 50% plus 1, that becomes a 51% attack. Basically what they try to do is they try to break off into their own into their own mining pool, right? So they will transfer more cryptocurrencies on their own, and then because they have enough computing power, they can force the rest of the miners to accept that their validations are supreme. Their validations are the correct one because the majority rules in the proof of work. So that's something that you have to understand. That's why studying these algorithms, studying how these work is very important so that you can know exactly what potentially could happen if this happened into your investment, right? So this is on the same token there, on the same note. Proof of work coins on high alert following spate of 51% attack. So Verge basically got attacked a couple weeks ago, and then what happened was, so it was a patch that they did that supposedly fixed it, right? So they lost, I think, $1.8 million worth of Verge coin, right? So they patched it and it was all good. And then I believe Bitcoin Gold then got attacked just a couple of days ago, right? And then again, the Bitcoin Gold, I think they lost, I'm not sure, I think $18 million. I forgot. I think it was, I believe, $18 million because of a double spend attack. And then Verge got attacked again, and again they lost 1.7 million. So I mean, just know that Bitcoin's network is a lot bigger, a lot bigger. You're comparing like an ocean to a lake, pretty much, right? Because Bitcoin has been around longer than any other one, so the amount of miners out there is more distributed. But of course, there's still that chance that it could happen. Technically speaking, it can happen. Theoretically, the power cost, because Bitcoin is so expensive, Bitcoin should be within $100 for it to even be possible, in my opinion. But we never know. It can happen if somebody just wanted to destroy the world and just throw all their entire money away, then maybe that can happen. But they need like countries and countries involved to be able to completely like attack the Bitcoin network. But of course, a lot of these coins don't have that same power. So just keep that in mind. So I also told you about this one. One Satoshi is the smallest unit of Bitcoin, right? It's 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. It's now worth 5 Venezuelan bolivars, right? That is crazy. Look at the inflation rate. This again, I was telling you about, the fiat currencies of the world, the currencies that are backed by government states. They can pretty much do whatever they want. They can print as much as they want. That's why, yesterday I reported that Zimbabwe's central bank banned cryptocurrencies because, they want to be able to control how something is printed, how something is generated. In Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, you cannot, because it's a software that controls that. So this is all because of Venezuela's inflation rate. That's pretty sad that their currency is so low. But it is what it is. They have to be able to make a decision to to invest in cryptocurrencies if they want to, because their currency is not as stable as some other ones, right? So this is another news that I believe this guy is Matt Hogan. He's the Bitwise's asset management. He believes that Bitcoin could be worth 40,000 within the next decade because it's a good store of value. I know there's a lot of people are in the financial space are of course against this notion, because they're calling a lot of us in the crypto space call it digital gold, and then Litecoin would be the silver to gold. Litecoin is good, Charlie Lee, but it's not Bitcoin, right? They're doing some stuff good, but of course they're still not the original one. So they're looking at the returns that gold has posted. for this particular from 1972 to 1976, as you can see, the return year on year was a lot, and then it dropped on 1976. So overall though, as you can see, from 1970s, although this dipped up to 1984, it's still on a bullish pattern. But doesn't this look familiar? Doesn't this look like how Bitcoin did? Like, it crashed here, recovered, bounced, and crashed again, and then recovered a little bit, and then crashed again, and then recovered and crashed again. This looks like Bitcoin, or the whole cryptocurrency market in general, right? So right now it says Bitcoin is mirroring post 1971 gold. So that's when 1971 it just skyrocketed to 120% return on 1979, right? That was crazy. But then again, that's what we're experiencing right now, because Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies are very speculative, right? So that's basically the last bit of news that I wanted to be share with you guys. I just remembered this one I want to be able to share with you guys, actually. So this was the small banks getting rich because of government-backed mortgages, right? So that's done with all the cryptocurrency news. This one is just general finance news that I want to be able to share with you guys. And this is the last bit of news. I've already gone to 41 minutes, so I'm gonna try to wrap up very, very soon. But I wanted to be able to share this with you guys, as we've been talking about in the last couple of videos. We've been talking about the benefits and the drawbacks of the Dodd-Frank that was put in place in 2008, 2010, because as a reaction to the 2008, 2010 real estate and then banking crisis, right? And a lot of those things are getting reversed, right? Now, banks can again speculate and put investments in place in places that they have no business doing. So, but what was found by investigation by Bloomberg is that although they have been prevented from getting into these subprime mortgages, basically subprime mortgages are lending to people that can't afford a loan, right? There was, on this particular article, this guy, his name is Angelo Christian. His company is basically paid by the government or the banks. I'm sorry, his company is used by banks to be able to lend out money to people that have no business borrowing money in the first place. Some people that have declared bankruptcy, have little income, where their loan to value is supposed to be 30%. So your mortgage is supposed to be no more than 30% of your entire income. But a lot of people, they put half of their income. So if they lose their job, they're out of a house, and that's something that people shouldn't do. But people like this guy, and I mean, it's a legitimate business, so they are being able to do it. But the problem is, this is highly risky, because for them it poses no risk, but for us, the American public, the citizen, it's our tax dollars that are paying for this, because basically all these loans are backed by the government, right? And because it's backed by the government is they get their money from us citizens that pay our taxes. So basically what happens is these guys lend the profits, lend it, and they get paid like a 5% commission. Like a $250,000 loan would net them about $12,500, and they'll split that up among their team, and they're doing maybe like 50 deals a day kind of thing. They have a whole sales staff that are just selling to people that have no business buying a house or getting on these loans that are going to default eventually. But these people do not care, because they're going to make their commission, and they're going to wash their hands of it, and then move on with their lives and continue making money from these people. All right, so it does happen. So just be aware that potentially, if the banks were able to find a loophole like this one during the Dodd-Frank regulation and clampdown, what more now that they are going to be free again to do whatever they want. So just keep that in mind. We are in a not a really good state financially. I mean, I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial expert. I don't, I didn't study economics in from Harvard or stuff like that. But it just, to me, it's just common sense. We are spending as a country more than we produce. Our only source of income as a country, or any country, is taxpayers. Taxpayers is the only source of business. That's why we have the internal revenue service. That's how we make money. That's how the government makes money, is from collecting taxes, right? But where do we make money? We make money from working, trading time for money. But that money is also produced by the government, right? So they're basically taxing us for something that they gave us, that we worked for, but then they're paying interest on something that doesn't exist. So, just please educate yourself, know what's going on in the markets. You don't have to be an expert, but you just need to be able to protect your hard-earned money. You work hard for your family. You need to be able to make sure that you have the right knowledge in place to be able to seize the opportunities when they come. When the streets are red with blood red, that's a time for you to be able to buy and invest, as long as you know what you're investing in. If the real estate market crashes, then that's a good time to buy some real estate, because real estate always goes up eventually. But these are the times, if you buy on the top, it crashes, you're going to lose a lot of money. But if it crashes, you buy there, and then it goes back up, you sell, that's an opportunity for you to be able to make some gain. All right. That's pretty much it, guys. Well, again, thank you so much for your time today. I hope that you find value in this particular video. Please do subscribe, share the channel, hit the notification bell, smash the likes, and please comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to be able to grow this channel, and so that I can be able to work with you guys and collaborate with you guys and help the whole rat grind community leave this place a better place than we entered it. All right, guys, until I see you guys on the next video, I wish you and your family a success filled day. Good night. I love you guys. Bye.